This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number one. In a few sentences, please tell me who you are and what you do.
First of all, Professor, thank you for having me on this. It's great being on the other end of the mic this time. So my name is Benny Matthew. I am from Chicago. I'm also the founder of a company called Orion 3, which is new as of this year. Before that, I was in corporate for 16 years after college. My first job out of college was for a company called Aerotech, where I was there for 12 years, a little over 12 years. Started out as a recruiter, then went to sales, business development, and then leadership. And then after that, I worked for one of the biggest public accounting firms in the world called Baker Tilly out of Chicago. And I was there for about 3.5 years. And so when this year started, I decided to leave my comfortable corporate job with a secure salary and benefits to start a startup in an industry that doesn't exist in the middle of a pandemic. So, that's where I'm at now.
Well, Benny, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Question number two. What is something that makes you smile and or laugh about working in your industry?
It's easily the people. One, it's the people because, like, literally, I have about a little over 750 people that are a part of this Orion 3 group. And the truth is, they're all people that I like. They're all people that I'm friends with. They're all extremely successful people from diverse backgrounds. So it's so much fun where I get to create this company of basically just being able to hang out with my friends, or make new friends and then get to hang out with them and get to know them on a professional, personal level as to whatever level I see fit.
Oh, I love it. And what's better than getting to work with your friends? I love it. Question number three. I have a fictitious book with all the answers for business. What chapter would you think most companies should read?
That's actually a really good question because I think there's, I think I wouldn't say companies should read, it's just different leaders, right?
Mhm.
And if you're leading people, I think there should be something in there about self-awareness because you can't lead people, in my opinion, unless if you understand yourself. And personally, I think self-awareness is by far the most important thing a human being can achieve.
I would agree with you there because when you're self-aware of your effects on others, it's certainly you can respond accordingly, and I think that that's very wise. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Question number four. Other than the generic work harder, have a great attitude, and care for customers, what advice or insight would you give to other business leaders?
Understand yourself. Again, I'm just going to say
Mhm.
self-awareness because I just think the more you could understand yourself, the better you could connect with other people, the better you can connect, the more receptive you are to ideas, to feedback. I just think that, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person. And I think that, and for me, like, especially I'm 39 now, the last 8 years has been this journey of self-awareness. And I feel like even though I was raised in a very strict Catholic home and I've read the Bible from page 1 in Genesis all the way to end at least a couple different times, but I feel like I understand God better the more that I live within myself.
I really like that. And it's interesting because, as you say about this journey of being self-awareness, do you feel like it's a lifelong journey?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. And I think if you think there's a finish line, you're not on the journey. Like, there is no finish line. It's like constantly trying to figure yourself out. And yeah, absolutely a lifelong journey.
Yeah, it really is, and that's what makes life worth living too. Is because there's always something new to work on and new to explore and tackle. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. Question number five: what other business leader like yourself would you like to acknowledge and invite to be on my podcast?
Man. I told you I have a list of like, there's over 750 people that are business leaders in Chicago, but literally at the top of my head right now, I'm thinking my buddy Tom Kirby, who's starting a phenomenal company that I think he's going to do some great things. There's Alice Chen, who I met her because somebody from her advisory board, who's a good friend of mine, introduced me to her. She's launching a tequila seltzer, which I think she sent me some samples. It's great. God, there's so many. Gary Cooper from Chicago. I think he's been the Chicago business celebrity. I think he's doing some great things, not just within his company, but also just for the community overall. I mean, there's a lot of people that, and those three names just come to mind because I was literally just thinking of them. I have another friend, Jen Christensen, who's launching it's almost like a augmented reality type app company that is it's called Face Trace. So yeah, I mean, if you give me time, I can give you a list of 600. So
Perfect. I got plenty of people in the queue, so I don't need that many, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for those referrals. And our final question number 6. Please tell me about your first job.
Okay, so my first job, that's not on LinkedIn, that most people don't ever know about. So it is, I was at an amusement park called Kittyland, which is like a historical place in Chicago. I was 15. I grew up in a very small, a tiny apartment. I would just want to get a job right away, like when I was young, and I got my work permit, so I was really excited. So Kittyland Amusement Park, I can't even remember the year, what summer it was. It was my first experience with actually having a job and getting a paycheck, but it was a lot of fun. And I learned that I never, ever, ever want to work in an amusement park again. I've actually had a really hard time eating anything at amusement parks because I saw the people that were making the food in Kittyland and how much we goofed around. So yeah, the biggest lesson that taught me is don't ever work in an amusement park again.
Well, it's a great lesson, and I can only imagine. I worked at a restaurant, and I would never have eaten in that restaurant after what I saw in the kitchen. So
yeah, well, but on the flip side, like my first real job out of college, Aerotech. I mean, for me personally, that was the best job I could have had. And I never, ever expected to be there for over 12 years. And, there was a lot of BS and there was a lot of ups and downs, but honestly, like I wouldn't trade anything for that. I'm extremely grateful for the people that I met, that I got to build relationships with, that I'm still friends with, I should say. So I had no idea what the company even did when I got the job. So I got lucky with that. And it just ended up being something that literally made a huge impact on my life.
Great story to follow that one up. Thank you so much. And Benny, thank you for being on the show. How can people find you?
I think the best way is obviously LinkedIn. I'm very active on that. And also, I think LinkedIn would probably be the safest thing to say. My email is benny@orion3.com. That's ORION, the number 3.com.
Perfect. This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. Get hundreds of amazing business insights from previous guest episodes on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for listening.